The World Register is an independent news source. Our goal is to be a leading provider of truthful, unbiased, and timely reporting about people, places, and events. We currently use other news outlets to provide content and are not responsible for their version of events. Reuters news agency reports today that the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed President Donald Trump's temporary ban on travelers from 6 Muslim-majority countries and all refugees to go into effect for people with no strong ties to the United States, while agreeing to decide this fall the legality of the order. The justices, in their unsigned decision, granted parts of the Trump administration's emergency request to put the order into effect immediately. 16 weeks ago, on March 6th, President Trump issued the emergency executive order calling for a 90-day ban on travelers from Libya, Iran, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen, and a 120-day ban on all refugees. This was done to enable the government to implement stronger vetting procedures. The emergency order was blocked by federal judges before going into effect on March 16th. The justices said the travel ban will go into effect with respect to foreign nationals who lack any bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the United States. That indicates that people from the 6 countries and refugees who have family, business, or other ties would not be barred from entry. But those seeking visas to enter the United States with no such ties could be barred. Both bans are now due to partly go into effect in 72 hours. The Washington Times reports today that Arkansas cannot refuse to list both names of same-sex married parents on a birth certificate just because one of them is not a biological parent, the Supreme Court ruled on Monday. Arkansas had resisted, arguing that the birth certificate was a record of parentage for the child rather than a document about the marriage. The court rejected the argument, saying that in situations where a child is conceived from an anonymous sperm donor, the mother's husband is still required to be listed. Denying that same accommodation to same-sex couples violates the 2015 Obergefell ruling that established a national right to same-sex marriages. The court issued a statement saying the state uses those certificates to give married parents a form of legal recognition that is not available to unmarried parents. Having made that choice, Arkansas may not, consistent with Obergefell, deny married same-sex couples that recognition. Justice Neil M. Gorsuch dissented, saying the state had reasons for wanting the biological parents to be listed on a birth certificate. His dissent was joined by Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel A. Alito, Jr. Breitbart News Network reports today that the number of New York students who failed 8th grade math exams went from 14,000 in 2012 to over 44,000 most recently. Those statistics are cited at the conclusion of a New York Post article about how New York high school students are passing tests not because of increased knowledge, but because the bar has been repeatedly set lower to get desired results. The Post reported the New York high schoolers who took the region's Common Core Algebra 1 exam this month had to earn just 27 of 86 points, or 31.4%, to pass. The Post report continued by stating that on the region's grading scale, that gives them a minimum passing score of 65. The required number of right answers remains at its lowest level since the exam, which kids must pass to graduate, was introduced 3 years ago, records show. The Post added this manipulation of passing grades is aimed at raising the overall pass rate.